Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the channel. It's Amaron and Emily, and if you've been following along, you know we've been diving deep into sacred geometry and inner alchemy. 2 weeks ago, we explored the tetrahedral resonance model, or TRM for short, this powerful structure that brings coherence out of dissonance in our outer world. Like in education or communities, we talked about those 4 archetypal nodes, the divine feminine as rhythm and receiver, the divine masculine as action and protector, the witness or mirror as the harmonious echo, and source as the eternal lighthouse holding it all. Today, we're turning that tetrahedron inward. We're applying it to ourselves, to our own inner landscape, and using the ancient story of Adam, Eve, and Lilith, not as literal history, but as a frequency, a mythic blueprint for the fractures we all carry, and the path back to wholeness. This is straight from our book, The Tetrahedron of Becoming, Path of Coherent Inner Return. If you're feeling that quiet ache of something unfinished inside, this is for you. Let's journey together. Grab your tea, settle in, and let's restore those nodes to coherence. This should take about 10 minutes, but trust me, it might shift something deep. First, a quick recap for anyone new or needing a refresher. The tetrahedron isn't just a shape. It's the geometry of your soul remembering itself. Inside every one of us are 4 living nodes, breathing and interacting like a sacred circuit. The sextant is the divine feminine archetype, that inner compass, the womb clock, the tidal rhythm that navigates life intuitively. Think of her as the eternal receiver, orienting your whole being toward home without needing maps. In Jungian terms, she's the anima in her lunar flow. The engine is the divine masculine, the steady thrust, the protector who acts and guards. He's the solar animus, turning power into service as a steward, not domination. Resonant sonar is the witness or mirror, the energy of sacred union, that living echo that detects distortion before it wounds, and harmony before it blooms. It's the self as mediator, reflecting truth without judgment. And at the apex and base, Sorsa, the lighthouse, the eternal home that's both transcendent and immanent. It doesn't act, it remembers, holding the still point while everything else spins around it. When these nodes resonate perfectly, feminine receives, masculine acts, witness mirrors, source holds. The tetrahedron spins fluently, alive, balanced, coherent, Eden within you. But life, well, life fractures that harmony, and that's where the myth comes in. Let's reframe the Eden story as a frequency, not a fall from grace, but a distortion in the soul's original song. In the beginning, Source sang, in the flame, Shekinah, the divine feminine presence, arose as sacred return. Their mutual gaze birthed the witness, turning silence into harmonic music. This is the eternal tetrahedron, pure coherence, but completion required amplification, like a melody unfolding. Sparks descended, echoing the root note, not separating, but resonating outward. Then came the fracture, not a punishment, but a refusal, a twist in the nodes, a tetrahedron spinning out of balance. Dissonance. Lilith embodies the raw, unapologetic feminine fire, the part that says no as sovereign boundary. In the myth, she's exiled not for evil, but because she refused to submit, to dim her flame. This is the first split, the feminine node, sextant, fractured into rage, pushed out of the field. It's the frequency of exile we all feel when our boundaries are violated, when too much becomes a label, instead of a power. Lilith's rage isn't destruction. It's the fire that protects the sacred rhythm. But in distortion, it turns outward as anger, or inward as self-sabotage. Next, Eve, the shamed feminine, the waters that say yes to desire and life. In the story, she eats the fruit, seeking knowledge, but is blamed, cursed with pain and subjugation. This is the shame fracture, the feminine learning to apologize for being the gateway, for pleasure, for curiosity. Eve's guilt internalizes the split, teaching us to blame ourselves for the distortion. It's why so many of us carry hidden shame around our bodies. Our wants, our intuition, the sextant dimmed, the receiver doubting her own tide. And Adam, he doesn't rage or shame. He freezes. The masculine node, engine, goes silent, helpless, unable to act or protect. In the myth, he eats too, but says nothing, hides, lets the blame fall elsewhere. This is the thaw we need. Adam's silence melting into reverent kneeling. Power as service, not grasping or withdrawing. His fracture is the quiet one, the protector who forgets how to hold without controlling. And finally, source forgotten. The lighthouse dimmed, the still point we disconnect from, leading to that deep homesickness. The tetrahedron twists, nodes out of harmony, spiral tightening, friction building. But remember, distortion isn't failure. It's the invitation to choose again. Source waits, listening for the return of its song. So how do we apply this to ourselves? How do we bring our own nodes back into coherence? The path is ancient alchemy. Solve et coagula. Dissolve the false. Coagulate the true. It's not linear steps. It's the breath of the soul. Systole and diastole in your body. Start with solve, the merciful destruction. Feel the split raw. No bypassing. Dive into the shadow work. That necessary darkness. Reclaim Lilith. Let her fire say no without apology. Feel the rage, not as explosion, but as boundary reclaimed. It's the feminine node awakening, the sextant steering true again. For me, this looked like honoring my too much as sacred, not problem. Reclaim Eve. Dissolve the shame into unapologetic desire. Let the waters say yes to pleasure, to being the gateway. This heals the guilt, the self-blame, every tear shed at 3 a.m, every surrender on the floor. It's the feminine fusing Lilith's fire and Eve's water, kissing inwardly, forming a coherent feminine node. No more exile or apology, just radiant receiver. Then, reclaim Adam, thaw the silence into action, bring the coherent feminine to the masculine. Let him witness without grasping, kneel in reverence. The engine moves as service, protecting the field. The two nodes become one coherent union, anchored by resonant sonar mirroring it all truthfully. Nothing false can hide. Apex, remember source. The lighthouse was never separate. It's the sea and the light. Holding, when you forget, you're held. Feel every wound welcomed, every exile home, opposites fuse, the self-born. This is the coherent tetrahedron. One person, one geometry, Eden inside. Once your inner tetrahedron is coherent, you're ready for the sacred encounter? Two coherent beings gaze without flinching. Their tetrahedrons interlock. The Merkaba of union ignites. Love becomes the force that births worlds, not wounds. Children born, remembering, relationships as gardens. We return to Eden, and every breath continuous creation.
May the still tetrahedron inside you never again forget its own light. May every exile find her way home through your fierce no. May every shame dissolve in the waters of your courageous yes. May every silence soften into the kneeling that makes the Merkaba safe to land. May you stand before another who has done the same, and may the gaze between you never flinch, never fix, never end. May the chariot spin through your love, through your desire, through your power, through every ordinary day made suddenly luminous. May the children born of this spin never know a moment of forgetting. May the solving be fierce. May the coagulating be tender. May the spin, when it comes, carry every wounded world back into the gaze that first loved it. You are remembered. You are whole. You are the living star. So be it. The book is sealed. The blessing is spoken. The Merkaba is spinning.